Hello and welcome back to English in Mind, the podcast, where we not only practice English together, but also build courage, confidence, and real-life wisdom. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're walking, cleaning, or simply resting at home, thank you for choosing to share your time with me today. Let me begin with something personal. For a long time, I was the kind of person who always looked for safety. I planned everything, avoided difficult conversations, stuck to what I already knew. I told myself I was being careful, but deep inside, I knew the truth. I was scared. Scared of what might happen if I failed, if I made a mistake, or if others laughed at me. I was so afraid of being embarrassed or uncomfortable that I avoided taking even the smallest risks. But here's what I didn't realize back then: by avoiding risk, I wasn't protecting my life. I was shrinking it. You see, a risk doesn't always mean something dangerous. A risk simply means doing something when you don't know exactly how it will turn out. It means opening the door to possibility. It's the space between what you know and what you could become. Imagine this. You walk into a room full of people who speak English fluently. You've studied, but you're nervous. What if they don't understand you? What if you say something wrong? Your heart races. You think about walking away. But if you stay, if you take that small risk to speak, you might find yourself laughing, learning, even making a new friend. You might discover that you're better than you thought. That's the power of risk. And it's why today we're going to explore this question deeply. Why do we need risk in our lives? Because without risk, there is no growth. Without risk, we never leave the shore. We may feel safe, but we miss the wind, the sea, and the stars. We miss the life we could live. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something that scared you just a little? Something uncertain, something new. Maybe you sent your first voice message in English. Maybe you applied for a job you didn't think you'd get. Maybe you finally shared an idea with your classmates or coworkers even though your voice was shaking. That moment, however small, was you stepping outside the comfort zone. And I promise you, that step matters more than you think. See, a lot of people imagine that taking a risk means doing something huge, quitting your job, moving to another country, starting a business. And yes, sometimes risks are big, but most of the time, they're small and quiet. They begin with a whisper. Maybe I could raise my hand in class. Maybe I could try speaking English with my neighbor. Maybe I could post that short video, even if it's not perfect. Those small whispers, if you listen to them, can grow into a new version of yourself, one that is braver, freer, more alive. But I also know this many people don't take that step. They stay stuck. They keep waiting for the right time, the perfect plan, the day I'm ready. Let me tell you the truth. That day doesn't exist. There is no perfect time to take a risk. There is only now, and every time you say not yet, fear becomes a little stronger. So why do we wait? Because we've been taught that mistakes are bad. That failure means something is wrong with us. That other people are always watching, always judging. We've been told to be careful, more than we've been told to be brave. And that's the mindset I want to challenge today. Because what if mistakes weren't something to be ashamed of, but something to be proud of? What if failure wasn't the end, but the beginning? Think of a baby learning to walk. She falls again and again. But does she give up? No. She gets back up, wobbles forward, and smiles. Because falling is part of learning. No one tells her, you failed. We clap, we cheer, we say, you're learning. But somewhere along the way, we stop cheering. We start judging, and we stop trying. So today, I want to be the voice that cheers for you. I want to remind you that it's okay to try. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to take one step forward, even if you don't know what comes next. Because risk isn't about being reckless. It's about being willing. Willing to grow. Willing to change. Willing to face something unfamiliar and say, I'll try. And when you do, you'll begin to realize something beautiful. You are stronger than your fear. You are smarter than your doubts, and you are more capable than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. I know this, not just because it's true for me, but because it's true for everyone who dares to try. So let me ask you again, what's one small risk you've been avoiding? Is it starting a conversation in English? Asking for feedback at work? Signing up for that class you keep thinking about? Whatever it is, I want you to hold it in your mind right now. And I want you to imagine what your life might look like if you just tried. What new door might open? What new version of you might be waiting on the other side? Because that's where growth begins, not in the safety of what you already know, but in the quiet courage to step into something new. And in the next part of this story, we'll look at what often stops us from doing exactly that. We'll go deep into the fears that hold us back and how to gently, powerfully move through them. For now, take a deep breath and know this, you're already on the path, just by listening, just by being open. You've already taken the first small risk, the fear that holds us back. So here you are, listening still with me. That means something. It means that deep inside you, there's a part that wants to grow, a part that's curious, a part that is tired of staying stuck. But let's be honest, even when we want to move forward, something always seems to stop us. Fear. Fear is that quiet voice in your head that whispers, you'll fail. Fear is the invisible wall between where you are and where you want to be. Fear tells you to wait, to stay small, to play it safe. And the truth is, most people listen to that voice not because they're weak, but because they've never been shown another way. Let's talk about it. Let's name these fears one by one so you can begin to see them for what they really are. The first fear is the most common of all, the fear of failure. It sounds like this. What if I try and it doesn't work? What if I embarrass myself? What if I'm just not good enough? This fear can stop you before you even begin. You imagine the worst case scenario. You see yourself falling, struggling, being laughed at. And instead of risking that pain, you stay still. But here's what you need to understand. Failure isn't the enemy. It's a teacher. Every time you fail, you learn something about yourself, about the world, about how to do it better next time. Think about a student who takes an English speaking test and doesn't pass. Yes, that hurts. But now she knows where she needs to improve. She knows what to study, how to prepare. And if she tries again, she has a better chance. If she never tries, if she lets fear stop her, she'll never know what she's truly capable of. That's the danger of fearing failure. It doesn't just keep you from losing, it keeps you from winning too. Now let's talk about the fear of judgment. You know this one. The feeling that someone's watching you, that people are going to laugh, criticize, or gossip. This fear often shows up when we try to speak English in public. You want to say something, but your voice freezes. You're afraid of your accent. You're afraid of saying the wrong word. You imagine someone laughing, rolling their eyes, or correcting you in a harsh way. But here's a question. How many people have actually done that to you? Probably not many. The truth is, most people are too busy worrying about themselves to judge you. And the ones who do, they're usually afraid too. Confident people don't laugh at others, they encourage them. Think of this. When you see someone try something brave, do you judge them? Or do you feel inspired? You probably admire their courage. So what if someone else is thinking the same about you? Then there's the fear of change. Change is uncomfortable. It asks you to leave what's familiar. Even if your current life isn't great, at least it's known. And the known often feels safer than the unknown. Maybe you've been in the same job for years. You're bored, frustrated, even unhappy. But leaving feels risky. What if the next job is worse? What if you fail there? What if you lose what little you already have? That's the illusion fear creates, that staying the same is safer than trying something new. But ask yourself this. Is it really safe? Is staying stuck truly the safe option, or is it a slow, quiet way of giving up on yourself? There's one more fear I want to talk about, the fear of not being ready. This one is sneaky. It says, You can do it, just not now. Wait until your English is better. Wait until you're more confident. Wait until you've read one more book, finished one more course. This fear wears the mask of logic. It sounds smart, but it's just fear in disguise. Because the truth is, you'll never feel completely ready. Readiness doesn't come before action. It comes from action. You become ready by doing. Think of someone who wants to start their own business. They study, they plan, they research, but they never launch. They keep telling themselves they need more time, more preparation, more courage, and 5 years pass. Still no business. Meanwhile, someone else takes a risk, starts small, makes mistakes, learns, grows, and now they have something real. That's the difference between fear and action. Fear wants you to wait. Action wants you to try. Now let's take a breath. This isn't about blaming yourself. Fear is a normal human thing. We all feel it. I feel it. Even the most successful people in the world still feel fear. But the people who grow, they don't wait for the fear to disappear. They move with it. They feel the fear and they take one step anyway. Let me share a story. There was a man named David who wanted to move to Canada to start a new life. He had studied English for years, but he was afraid to speak. Every time he opened his mouth, his voice shook. He stayed silent in meetings. He avoided conversations. But one day, his daughter said, "Daddy, are you afraid to talk?" That question hit him hard. He realized that if he stayed silent, he was teaching his daughter to be silent too. And he didn't want that. So the next day, he made a decision. Say one sentence in English every day out loud. The first day it was, "Hello, how are you?" to the woman at the bus stop. The next day it was, "Could I please have a coffee at the cafe?" The third day he introduced himself in a job interview. Step by step his fear got smaller and his life got bigger. That's the kind of bravery we all need. Not big dramatic gestures, but small consistent acts of courage. So now I ask you, what fear is holding you back? Is it fear of failing your next English test? Fear of being laughed at for your accent? Fear of applying for a job because you don't feel ready? Whatever it is, I want you to write it down. Yes, right now. Write the fear on paper. And then ask yourself, what is one small action I could take today to challenge this fear? It could be as simple as saying hello to someone new, or posting one comment online in English, or asking a question in class. Because once you take that step, no matter how small, you'll begin to understand something powerful. Fear is not a stop sign. It's just a signal that you're about to grow. And in the next part of our journey, we'll look at exactly how to take those small steps so you can start creating real change in your life beginning today. You're not alone in this. I'm right here with you, taking the first step toward a bigger life. So here we are, you and I, sitting in this quiet space together. We've talked about fear. We've talked about failure, judgment change, and all the invisible walls that rise up when you want to move forward. But now it's time to shift. Not just talk, act. And no, I don't mean you have to quit your job, move to a new country, or stand on a stage today. I'm not asking you to leap into the fire. I'm asking you to light a candle. Because one small light can begin to change the darkness. Let's begin with this question. What does a small risk look like in your life? For one person, it might be raising their hand in an English class for the very first time. For another, it could be recording a short voice note in English and sending it to a friend. For someone else, it's walking into a cafe and ordering a coffee in English, even if their heart is pounding. These may seem like tiny actions to others, but to you, they could be a revolution. You see, bravery doesn't always look loud. It doesn't always wear a cape. Sometimes bravery is a whisper inside your heart that says, just try. And when you try, something powerful happens. You begin to rewrite the story you tell yourself. Instead of, I can't, you begin to say, maybe I can. Instead of, I'll never, you begin to say, let's see. Instead of, I'm afraid, you begin to say, I'm learning. So how do you start? Here are a few gentle but powerful steps. 1. Start with a decision. Change begins with a choice. Not a loud, dramatic choice, but a quiet, steady one. Decide that you will take one small risk this week. Just one. Decide it now. Say it out loud if you can. This week, I will take a small risk. That's the spark, the flame. 2. Choose something manageable. Don't make the risk so big that it paralyzes you. Choose something you can do in 5 minutes or less. Send an email. Join a language group. Ask a question. Volunteer for a task. Keep it simple, keep it real. Because small actions repeated over time build momentum. And momentum changes lives. 3. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Fear will show up. That's a promise. Your heart will race. Your voice may shake. You'll feel uncertain. But here's something most people don't realize. The fear before doing something is always worse than the feeling after. Before you speak, fear says, you'll mess up. After you speak, your heart says, I did it. Before you walk into the room, fear says, everyone will stare. After you walk out, your soul whispers, I showed up. You don't have to wait for fear to leave. You just have to move through it. 4. Reflect on what you learn. Every risk, successful or not, teaches you something. Maybe you tried to speak English and forgot a word, so you learned that you need to review that word again. Maybe you joined a class and didn't understand everything, so now you know where to focus. Maybe you started a conversation and it went well. Now you know you're more ready than you thought. Each action gives you feedback. Use it, grow with it. 5. Celebrate the win. Even if it's small, even if no one else sees it, celebrate. You ordered food in English, clap for yourself. You asked your boss a question in a meeting. That's growth. You didn't stay silent this time. That's courage. And if no one else says, well done, let me say it for you. Well done. You're doing something most people never do. You're choosing progress over comfort. And that is rare. Now let me tell you a story. A true one. There was a woman named Lena. She had been studying English for years but never spoke. She said her accent was bad, her vocabulary too small, and her grammar not perfect. So she waited. Years passed. Her books were full of notes. Her phone had language apps, but her voice stayed silent. One day, her daughter asked, why don't you speak English, Mommy? That question cut through all the fear, so Lena made a choice. That evening, she recorded herself reading one short paragraph in English. Her voice trembled. She made mistakes. But she sent it to a teacher she trusted. The reply was simple, I'm proud of you. That moment changed everything. She started recording one message every day. She joined a beginner's conversation club. She spoke to other moms at her child's school. Now she's teaching beginner English at a community center. She's not perfect. She still makes mistakes. But she shows up. And that's all that matters. You see, risk isn't about being fearless. It's about choosing to believe that you are more than your fear. So here's what I want you to do today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, take out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Write down one small risk I've been avoiding. Why I've been avoiding it. What could happen if I tried? What I'll do today. It could be as simple as texting someone in English or saying hi to a coworker you usually avoid, or signing up for an online conversation class even if you don't feel ready. Whatever it is, promise yourself this: I will not stay silent out of fear. Because your voice matters, your dreams matter, and your growth matters. Let me leave you with one final thought. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You've taken one small risk every week, just one. That's 52 new steps, 52 moments of courage, 52 times you chose growth over fear. What kind of person would you be? More confident, more fluent, more free. And it all begins with one decision try. I'm proud of you. I really am. Thank you for walking this journey with me. You didn't have to, but you did. And that means you're already braver than you think. Until next time, take care. Keep learning, keep risking, keep growing. I'm here with you every step of the way.